Welcome to Home Buying Made Easy, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on mortgages, real estate, and everything the big banks hope you never figure out. Michael Dendy is a licensed mortgage loan officer with Edge Home Finance, and I'm Rachel, co-host and producer of the show. Every episode, Michael and I break down the stuff that actually matters without the jargon. This show is designed for everyday people like you and I to learn the home buying process so you can buy smarter, save more, and stop leaving money on the table. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to another episode of Home Buying Made Easy. This is Mythbuster Monday, which means on Mondays we are going to bust a myth. Today being Monday and being summer, in honor of that, I wore the pineapple shirt.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So
what you're wearing.
I'm wearing a pineapple shirt because I miss Maui and really want to go to Maui. That's the thing.
You and Mello.
Yeah, but if you go to Maui, I'll probably have to pay for it. Like,
And?
that's, yeah.
And what's the problem?
I think now's the perfect time for me to use the words "your mom."
She can come too, you know?
I know. Yeah. So anyway, all of that to say, we are going to bust a myth today, and the myth we are busting is about
Investment properties.
There you go.
So Mythbuster Monday today, there's too many rules for investing in a property and that it's not actually worth it because there's too many rules. True or false?
That is false. And investment properties are some of the best ways to build wealth in America. Part of the reason is because you could take a small amount of down payment and you can have someone else who's renting that property pay the mortgage while you're gaining the equity from that mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Investment properties are a huge success in investment portfolios for people who choose to do that.
Mm-hmm. So is there a difference between investment property and primary residence down payments?
Yes, because a primary residence down payment can, depending on the loan type, again, USDA is zero. There's no down payment. You cannot do a government loan, a USDA loan, a FHA loan, or a VA loan, original loan, purchase loan, unless you are going to be the primary resident. You have to occupy the property. So in an investment situation, you're not going to be occupying the property, so you have conventional loans. And the down payment for like FHA is 3.5%. Conventional typically is 3%, 5%. That's what it is. But when you get into investments, the investment loan for a conventional, investment down payment for a conventional loan is at least 20%. Mm-hmm. And you even get better interest rate pricing at 25%. They really want you to be like skin in the game kind of thing.
Right.
So they ask for a bigger down payment.
Yeah.
Now, there's other programs that do things differently, but that's how conventional loans work.
Yeah. So with that requirement of having 20% or more, does that have to do with PMI and private mortgage insurance at all?
Well, there wouldn't be if you're putting 20% down on an investment property, you wouldn't have PMI because you're putting that 20% down.
Yeah.
So typically, investment properties won't deal with PMI anyway because of that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What's the difference between buying a rental property and house hacking, or buying a multi-family home to live in one unit? Do the rules change for that, or how does that work?
Those are pretty similar. And again, this is going to depend on program type because one thing we didn't address a little while ago, and I think maybe you'll ask a question about this. There's other loan types that benefit investors specifically, but house hacking is where you potentially, there's a friend of mine who he's house hacking right now with a house. So he bought a house in actually an old neighborhood that I used to live in. And he has three or four roommates that also are going to live in that house. And they are paying so much of the money for the mortgage. And ultimately, he's paying like $120.
That's nice.
Like everybody else, he's house hacking.
Yeah.
That's house hacking. That's a single house. You can do that in multifamily as well. Even with a conventional loan, you can live in one, which the cool thing is if you're going to be a primary resident of one of the units, conventional loans will allow you to have a lower down payment. You do have to still meet certain requirements, criteria.
Right.
You have to have some assets available, some money set aside, reserves is what they call that. But you could buy a 4-unit and do a conventional loan.
Okay. So what are those loan types that allow lower or benefit investors?
Well, the one we just talked about where you have multiple units and you live in one of them as a primary resident, that would change. Another one is called a DSCR loan. There are certain there's certain investors that allow for a DSCR. DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio, meaning the debt that you're going to take on per month, that monthly payment, that debt service is covered by the rent that's going to be coming in for the property. That's called a DSCR loan. So instead of using your income as part of the requirement, they use the property as the collateral and the, I guess, to inform their decision making for the mortgage. Does the property pay for itself, so to speak, per month in rent?
Yeah.
Those DSCR loans only require, well, depending on the lender, 10%. You could do a 10%. I think it's actually 10.01.
Oh my goodness. So not 10%.
No, it's 10.01.
More
it's got to be like
10%.
89.9.
Okay, so when you're trying to qualify using rental income from the investment property itself, how do lenders calculate that income if the property hasn't even generated rent yet?
There's a couple of things that you can do depending on the loan type again. And I keep going back to this. I want to make sure that this makes sense to everybody. When I say depending on the loan type, it's because every lender, every loan type has unique requirements. So a conventional loan, no matter which lender, they have guidelines for what they allow and don't allow.
Right.
So to answer your question here, for this particular part, a conventional loan is actually, I'm trying to figure out how I would say it. For the first time ever, I have no idea what the question is.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
We're going to cut this particular part. Oh, my goodness.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
I want you to put the bars up on the like the.
Hello? Can I help you? Okay.
Who's that?
River. She just opened the door and stared at me.
I want you to put the bars up on there and say, oh, sorry about okay. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical glitches. The technical glitches were me.
Yeah. That's true. The continuous glitches from Michael Dendy.
Sorry about that. We are back now and moving ahead.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
Okay, so when when someone's trying to qualify using rental income from the property, how do lenders calculate that income if the The light just went out. Okay. Let's restart that again. That light just went out.
Yeah, you're about to see 2, 3 more. We're at the end. Keep going. Are we going? What are we doing? Where are we starting?
I'll just ask the question again. When you're trying to qualify using rental income from the investment property itself, how do lenders calculate that income if the property hasn't been rented yet?
Yes. Okay. So there's a couple of different ways that can happen. On a conventional loan, you can you can have an appraisal done. It's a certain type of appraisal that accounts for rent schedule that would basically be like in the area that you are in the neighborhood you're in, here's what rent would typically go for. And they can use that rent schedule as an example. Another way, and here again, it depends on the type of loan. Every loan type has its own unique caveats or guidelines, so to speak. But another way they do it is if the person buying the property already has a renter set up, they can turn in a lease showing that the lease is valid and have the first and last month, so like a deposit kind of thing, already collected. And there's a lot of caveats here. So if you've never rented to anybody before, they may not allow that because you don't have a history of doing that. You're not seasoned in knowing how to do that. But then you may be able to overcome that by hiring a rental management company that would then replace you as the experienced person or the inexperienced person, but them being experienced in knowing how to do that.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of caveats. And I think that's what scares people when the first question you ask is, why are there so many rules? Well, the rules are put in place to make sure that there's a property that's out there that you own that's not your primary residence, so you aren't invested at the same level you would be invested if it was your own personal property, own personal house. Because think about it like this: times get tough, things happen. If something happens, what's the first thing you're going to let go of? Something you don't live in. Like that's going to be, just let it go, not that that's the way you want to be. You should never be that way. You should always want to pay your bills. But I mean, sometimes things happen. And when they do happen, you have to make good adjustments and you have to make choices.
Yeah. So last question, closing question. What's the biggest mistake first-time investment property buyers make that either costs them the deal completely or can cost thousands and thousands of dollars?
I would say the biggest things are they try to negotiate down too much. That's probably the thing that costs the deals. The other thing that I think is super important I think this is true for buying any house, get a home inspection and anything that, if it's minor, great, but you really do need to know the ins and outs of an investment property you're buying, because they can become a money pit really quick if you're not careful. So those are probably the two biggest things. I guess a third one would be probably hiring a rental management company. I think is huge for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yes, it costs a little bit of money, but if you do it right and have that, it's definitely worth it, because then you're not worried about who the renter is going to be. They're finding the renter, and then when they find the renter, the renter has to follow their rules and like their documents, their paperwork, their leases. I mean, they're set. That's what they do for a living. That's how they do it. So I think rental management company is huge.
Yeah, that's all we got for today.
If you're thinking about investing, I worked with many, many investors over the years, and investors are really good at managing their portfolios. If you'd like more information, or want me to get you connected in investment groups, feel free to reach out. All you have to do give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Home Buying Made Easy. If you're ready to take your next step, our team is standing by. You can call or text us directly at 615-499-6335. You can also reach us at michael@dendyteam.com or check out the link in the show notes below. Whether you have one question or you're ready to go, we'll meet you right where you are. Thanks for joining us. From our team to you, let's make home buying easy.